Let's continue the topic of cell phone stands. Once I was performing my friend's order, who wanted a pen and pencil cup, and at the same time thinking of how to save a desk space. An idea occurred to me to unite both, a pen cup and a cell phone stand in one item. Besides, there is an additional section where you can keep note papers, for example, or a doctor can keep a medical prescription or stuff like this. If you use such an organizer at home, you can put your phone charger here. It's up to you how to use this section. A cup cross-section can be either square or oval-shaped. Today we are going to weave an oval one. Besides, you can see here one more upgrade, another small section for keeping either note papers or business cards or similar small things. So we are weaving an organizer with an oval cup. As always, I was looking for a base. After Christmas holidays, I've come across such a liquor bottle. I measured the bottom. It is 5 cm wide and 9 cm long. 2 by 4 inches. The first step is calculating an oval bottom. You can weave an oval bottom using any possible technique. You can find a few ways of weaving an oval bottom at our website. However, I don't like repetition. The other day I found a new technique in the web, so let's try it. In order to avoid tube lengthening in the process of weaving, our bottom is not big, so there is no such necessity. I place 3 tubes at each edge. 3 or 4 tubes, it depends on your base size. Experienced weavers may skip this part. I believe they are not interested in the ways of weaving an oval bottom. So this part is meant for beginners. The vertical tubes are rigid, the horizontal ones are moistened. They were made quite long ago, so they become rather rigid and haven't got wet enough yet. By the end we add 3 more tubes. Let's check. That's all. Now start entwining. At first we will hug 3 tubes at a time, then each individual tube here, 2 horizontal tubes in the first couple of rows. After which we start separating the bunches of tubes. Start weaving using the normal 2-tube rope technique. Weave the first row in the direct rope technique and the second row in the opposite rope technique in order to prevent the bottom from twisting. Hug 2 tubes here and 3 tubes here. In the following rows we are going to separate them into individual tubes. And continue weaving this way, the first row in the direct rope technique and the following row in the opposite rope technique. Now let's change the direction and weave in the opposite rope technique. I've woven 4 rows in a circle. It is enough for the required size. Let's overturn it. Since the item is small and I'd like it to be stable, in this case I do perform a shift from bottom to walls. I lead a tube beneath two and lead it up. The tubes are rigid, so I soften them. It is even better to moisten them in order to avoid breaking. So I've softened and moisturized them, so I don't think there can be any problems. Under two tubes and lead up. It will make the article more stable. I join an additional tube. There are two tubes left. I add a third one and weave a 3-tube row. There will be a kind of a braid at the cup foundation. Three-tube rope in front of two, behind one. The cup foundation will look like this. Lengthen and continue up to the end of the row. I've inserted and led one of the tubes downward. Continue weaving a 2-tube rope with them. I'm going to add some color to the stand, because I'm weaving it to fit the definite interior. It is meant for the same friend of mine whom I have provided with a cashier port of an unusual shape and a stand for papers, black and green. So my phone stand is going to be dark brown, black and different shades of green. I'm weaving one more row and then change the color. Try to change the color behind the pole in order to hide it. I've collected all the remainders of green tubes I've got, and I'm going to make a kind of a chessboard pattern of dark and green colors. Continue weaving in the normal rope technique, weaving a pattern you've chosen, or you can make it single colored, it's up to you. Continue weaving a cup. The cup is almost finished. There are only a couple of centimeters left to the top. The last color will repeat. I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that I've lengthened the poles, which were too short. I've just added the new ones and cut the remaining poles. Here you still can see the stumps. Now I have to think of the way of both finishing the cup in a nice looking way and at the same time lengthening the new tubes for a phone stand. So I decide for the number of poles I'm going to weave a stand on. In my case I'm going to involve 8 poles. That's why I'm going to trim the edge on these tubes. As for these ones, I'm going to lengthen the poles and engage them in weaving a stand. I'm inserting additional tubes here. You can add some glue, because we are going to twist the tubes much. That's why 3 rows are not likely to hold the tube strong enough. So I drop a bit of glue. You do not necessarily have to insert the tubes too deep. At least I weave rather tightly, so in my case it is almost impossible. We are going to fasten them with the help of the following 3 rows. And continue weaving. Now I'm going to change the color. I recommend you to change the color from that very side where a stand is supposed to be, in order to hide the drawbacks. This side is smooth with no joints. Here where the joints are, in case of any failure it will be hidden. Here I'm changing the color once again for the last time. The tubes you are inserting have to be dry. You'd better soften them later, because it is easier to insert them like this. That's why I keep the moisturized working tubes I'm weaving with separately from those I'm inserting, though they are of the same color. I'm using school glue, but I believe dragon glue would be better in order to prevent the tubes from overdamping. So I have to insert 8 tubes. Finish weaving the cup. I've separated the poles I'm going to weave a phone stand on. The tubes left are rather short, so I'm not going to make any complicated edge trimming, just involving the poles into the last rope-like row. Weave 1 coil of the rope, lay the pole, weave the following coil, lay the pole over it. A coil, a pole laid. Let's lengthen the tube. Continue. Weave a coil and lay a pole.